depending on who Trump picks as the next Fed governor, it could kick off a whole freaking mega cycle.
The Bitcoin price is struggling right now, waiting on a new Fed chair, waiting on fresh rate cuts.
And crypto's going a lot higher.
Yet most people aren't seeing what I'm seeing. They don't know what I know about crypto.
They're going to happen over blockchains. And we think Solana is going to be one of the blockchains that gets the lion's share of the financial markets.
Watch today's whole video so you understand everything, because this just happened. The SEC to create new rules to allow crypto companies to launch products in the US without complying with previous regulatory requirements, calling this an innovation exemption.
We'll be doing rulemaking in the coming months. We're looking for an innovation exemption to try to get that in place by year end.
And this is happening this year in 2025. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission is aiming to weigh a new digital assets innovation exemption by the end of the year. And why are they doing this? Well, Atkins said his agency is trying to build a stable foundation for digital assets, crypto, in the United States, following directives from President Donald Trump to kick open the regulatory doors for the sector.
So that America can lead with innovation as the president's called for.
So this is an opportunity because yes, the Bitcoin price is dipping, yet still trading in this range, just like we've seen before. But the fundamentals are not getting worse. Actually, the fundamentals for crypto continue to get better. I loved this explanation from billionaire investor Mike Novogratz, stating one, just how difficult it is to try and time or understand this crazy new market, yet why the crypto fundamentals are increasing.
Listen, these are very hard calls. We are moving into a world where we've got central banking independence really a question. We've never had that in my 40-year career in Wall Street. And so depending on who Trump picks as the next Fed governor, it could kick off a whole freaking mega cycle, right? We throw so many independence into the toilet and crypto's going a lot higher, right? And so the political situation makes that prediction harder. Mm-hmm. The Fed just cut rates. They're going to cut at least one more time, probably two more times. Is it strange they cut rates when the stock market's on an all-time high, gold is on an all-time high, crypto's on? Yeah, it is. There was political pressure, some. But they are also wrestling with this thing we never had to think about before, which was AI, the great job destroyer. Mm-hmm. And it's going to destroy jobs. You can see it already, especially young people's jobs, high-paying ones. And so what AI does to this world, if anyone thinks they really know, they're out of their minds. It's so complicated. And so there's a lot more uncertainty in macro than I've ever seen, which makes calling the top of the cycle much more difficult.
So while it is never bad to take profits, if you need to take profits, always good. I personally am not selling at these prices. We do have the market structure bill coming, as explained by SEC Chair Paul Atkins.
I'm looking forward to Congress acting on this. I think it's important that we have a market structure bill, and we are actually helping. We were helping with the House, and now we're helping with the Senate as far as technical assistance on questions of securities law. And now we need to focus on the market structure aspect so that there is certainty in the marketplace and direction to the SEC and the CFTC to work together. I anticipate joint rulemaking, and so that way we can try to future-proof.
And let's not forget the fundamental legislation and green flags happening now for crypto that we have not seen something like this since early internet days.
The other thing I would add is, Mike just touched on executive branch, Fed independence, but, I honestly think what might end up being the biggest thing when we look back in 20 years is Congress. And we just passed the Genius Act a couple months ago. Stable coins are now recognized by United States Congress. I think we're going to get the Clarity Act passed hopefully in the next couple months here. Fingers crossed. I was in DC last week talking with Senator Scott and a bunch of others on some of these issues. And then of course we have Chair Paul Atkins, who announced Project Crypto, and he said unequivocally, we're going to move US securities markets on chain. It's with that backdrop, it's, I think probably the right historical comp to think about here is the Telecommunications Act of 1996. And when Congress passed that act and President Clinton signed it, that is really what laid the groundwork for the internet to grow. It gave companies the confidence to build fiber, for guys like Cisco to build all the routers and the infrastructure, for Intel to build all the chips and all the memory and all that stuff, for Microsoft and all the software makers, to make all the apps. And I think the Genius Act and now soon the Clarity Act, when we look back 20 years from now, it's going to be pretty obvious that that was the watershed moment. And so, we just feel incredibly excited about this. I'd say the last thing I would say is, there's I think 6 billion people have a smartphone today in the world, something like that. There's 8 billion people on the planet. Obviously, that'll get to 8 billion here in the next few years. And Google and Apple were never going to add native support for stablecoins in iOS and Android until stablecoins were fully blessed federally to be legal. Mm-hmm. That's happened. I don't know when Apple and Google are going to enable stablecoins as a first-class citizen in iOS and Android, but at this point, you can kind of assume the probability that that's going to happen is 100%. Maybe it's in 26, maybe it's in 27, maybe it's in 28. I obviously don't know anything about their timing, but we've got David Sachs as crypto czar in the White House. Guarantee you, he's been calling the folks at Apple and Google and telling them, "Hey guys, this is a matter of U.S. interest to promote the growth of stablecoins around the world. Build this into iOS and Android as a first-class primitive."
And we know stablecoins are going to be a big driver in crypto this and into next cycle. Circle, which is the company behind USDC, says welcome to the alliance. This could be signal because some people call SUPRA the next SUI or the next Solana. Excited to share that we have joined the Circle Alliance program, a global network of like-minded companies and teams focused on the future of finance. As members, we are looking forward to building new connections and continuing to learn and innovate with USDC and Web3 tech. Big moment for SUPRA and even ONDO, growth milestone. ONDO tokenized stocks and ETFs are changing how markets are accessed worldwide. Just weeks after launch, ONDO Global Markets is already the largest platform of its kind, with over 250 million total value locked, over 400 plus million in total volume, and 30 plus global market alliance partners. What stablecoins did to the US dollar, tokenized the US dollar, ONDO is doing for stocks, tokenizing stocks. And this market will probably get into the trillions. And what about Polkadot? I'm a Polkadot holder. I'm currently staking my Polkadot. And Polkadot honestly has been one of the worst performers of this cycle. And many people attribute that to just how much supply is being put into the market just from the daily issuance. Well, as per the community vote, there's now a 2.1 billion supply cap, just like Bitcoin's 21 million supply cap. Polkadot community voted on 2.1 billion to cap it off. The new 2.1 billion cap of DOT means that supply will increase by just 29% over the next 135 years, meaning while there's a 7.4% issuance rate today, it's going to be 3.3% issuance rate in March of 2026. That's bigger than a Bitcoin halving because it's over half of the issuance cut in half. To me, this probably means my staked Polkadot will be less lucrative, but this is good because it means less supply out there, less supply to sell in the open market, good for potential long-term price. If you're interested in making money investing in crypto, if you want to be in the know with one video per day keeping you informed, click subscribe. It is completely free, it costs you nothing, and you will have an edge investing in crypto. But I will say, institutional rails for the AI crypto sector are coming. There's big opportunity, in my opinion, at the sectors of where AI and cryptocurrency, two of the most explosive trends, converge. Where do they converge? Well, institutional rails for BitTensor Tau are coming online fast. The news today is this: a new way to access BitTensor Tau, Falcon X Global now offers secure Tau staking directly from secure custody, powered by Yuma's validators. And we also see the people at Google are starting to notice Tau in real time. Here's Mike of Contego Capital sitting down at Google to describe why BitTensor has the potential to surpass Bitcoin. This video is a little bit corporate, but this is perfect for the people at Google. Just watch.
There's already companies building on BitTensor that are state-of-the-art, that are able to outcompete some of the biggest tech companies in the world. I think BitTensor could be one of the biggest networks the world has ever seen. Potentially grow to the size of Bitcoin or potentially surpass Bitcoin. I believe inherently open source AI outcompetes closed source AI across all verticals. Bitcoin showed the world that decentralized compute scales much faster than centralized compute ever can. The Bitcoin computer is 500 times larger than the second largest supercomputer on Earth. And so BitTensor acts as a black hole for the state-of-the-art open source models. BitTensor has one of the strongest cult-like followings in the world. I think some of the BitTensor developers are the smartest people I've ever come into contact with. So incredibly lucky to have a great team and to be working in such a thriving ecosystem. Take a look at it. It's where the future is heading. The earlier you get climatized to what's happening here, I promise you the better.
And we also have Proppy. This is a cryptocurrency at the intersection of real estate meets on-chain meets crypto. Most buyers don't want to sell their crypto to buy a home, but they will use it to qualify for one, meaning you shouldn't have to sell your crypto, but if you can use it to get a loan, get a mortgage, yes. We're seeing buyers tap stablecoins for deposits, verify assets on-chain, and collateralize both crypto and property without selling a single coin. With Pro, the coin, now live on Kraken, access is expanding. It's the utility powering ownership for the crypto native economy. So Pro is on Coinbase, it's on Kraken, it's one of the made in America coins this cycle. I will put a link down below for you to take advantage of the bonuses. This is only if you watch the entire video, up to $10,000, up to $100,000, just for trading or buying or selling crypto that you're doing anyway. And like always, see you tomorrow.